So welcome to part 3 of the tutorial series of the Blender model that we started. And in this part what we're going to do is we are going to UV and lay out the meshes so that we can then add textures in Substance Painter. So let's begin. We're going to begin with the base. I'm going to press Command 1 and I'm solely going to concentrate on this. Click on it and press F so we can just focus and go around. Before we begin, let's go back a bit. I'm going to do something before I do all of this. So before anything, I'm gonna take all of this. I'm gonna switch from here to modeling, UV, and camera based. You're gonna see that it turns orange. That's okay. You're gonna right click, press object mode, and we're gonna select everything, UV editor, and we should see exactly what we have here on our UV editor. Give me 1 second because I have 2 monitors and this was off to the right. That's how I usually work. In case you don't know, I work with 2 monitors, sometimes 3. One to do what I'm doing here, one on the right for the UV editor, and on the left side usually I have music or a movie running just to entertain myself. Of course, that can't do that when I'm doing a tutorial because then I can get snagged for sounds that are not for copyright issues. But anyway, here we go. So now what you're gonna see is this. If I push this down and I select everything that I have, everything is camera based, right? This is what we want. So now what we're gonna do is, let me see something that's not right. UV camera based. Okay, it did it this way. I'm surprised, but alrighty then. So let's begin with this one. We're gonna press Command 1 and this isolates this. It's gonna tell you here, isolate perspective. We're gonna grab this, press F so we can get closer. I'm gonna push this off to the right, UV editor, and I'm gonna leave my UV editor right here so you can see what I'm doing. So you have to think of logic when you UV something like this. You have to think of everything logic wise. So let's do that. We are going to take edge here, double click that, and we're going to come here and we're going to cut that. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to come to the bottom. We're going to pick here. Let's actually, yeah, we can hide this. So let's pick here, double click that, and we're going to press cut. Now this is very important. So here we're going to come to try to get to the middle of this, which should be, let's see, so that's the front. I'm trying to, anyway, that's fine, we can pick one. Here is very important that you click on one. You're going to zoom in, come all the way down to where the line ends. So you have to shift double click, right? Be very careful you don't pick anything else because we want it to end where we cut here. And then now what we're gonna do is we're gonna come all the way down, shift double click to right there, and we're gonna cut that part, right? So that these 3 sections is done. Now we're gonna come right back up here and we are going to double click this, cut, and then let's see what we get, and we'll see what happens because sometimes this will spread out and you won't need to do anything, but sometimes you might have to do extra work. But let's find out. We're gonna take all of this, unfold and optimize, and we're gonna organize this. So we're gonna take this, press W, we're gonna move it over. This is the next part. We're gonna move it over. This is the following part. We're gonna press E. We're gonna straighten this out. And then we're gonna press W. We're gonna move it underneath. And all we are doing is organizing everything in order. So what we're gonna do is now, once we have more or less what we're looking for, just to make sure they're all aligned, we're gonna take this, we're gonna go straight down to align, we're gonna click on this one here, this way we know it's exactly down. We're gonna select them all, and we're gonna try to make sure that they're separated. No, that's not what I wanted. So that's to the right. I don't want that. Top, bottom, middle. Okay, so this doesn't give me the options that I want. That's fine. I just thought that it would separate them equally, but it didn't give it to me, so that's fine. I'll eyeball this. Next thing we're gonna do, since we want to make sure that it's the correct size, we're gonna hide the line, and we're gonna come to layout. Now let's try to, now that it's the right size, we're gonna reorganize this. So we're gonna take this one, and we're gonna push it here. Actually, it doesn't matter, guys. This doesn't matter. So how do we test that this worked? Let's just say we want to test this out. We're gonna move it up. We don't want anything on top of each other because it's gonna damage your geometry. So what we're going to do is we're gonna look at this, and it looks like we may have some, anyway, let's test it out, guys. Let's just, so this is showing me, if you see this lit out, that means that something outside is touching. So let's push this in, and this one we might have to shorten it a bit because it has to stay in here, guys. If you see this, this is wrong. It has to be in here. So let's test this out. The way we're gonna test this is, we're gonna press object mode, select the object, file, we're gonna export the selection, desktop, and we're gonna call this Blender base test, right? So we're gonna export this, and to make sure that our UV is correct, I know this is an extra step, but I always like to show you guys so that you know that you don't get all the way to the end and then have to backtrack because there's a problem. We don't want that. So I usually suggest that you run a test to make sure that everything is working well. So let's do that. I'm not gonna go too far in the process of Substance Painter. I'm just gonna test it with some material and we should be okay. So give me a second, let this load up. We're gonna close this. We're gonna file, new. We're gonna select what we need. We're gonna go to our desktop. We're gonna select the base test, open it. We're gonna test it at 4K and we're gonna press OK. The way you can make sure that this is correctly UV'd is by putting something that's supposed to flow. What do I mean? So something like, I don't want that. Why is it giving me just this material? It's not giving me something. Okay, let's try. No, we'll never do that. So anyway, let's try it with this for 1 minute and just see if there's any stretching. So as you can see, we can get away with this. Everything's flowing all the way through, except for right here, which is not a problem because, we're not gonna make this out of concrete, but this looks great. Let me see if I find something else that okay, let's try this one. Okay, and again, as long as people are gonna see the product, everything is fine. You're not gonna have a problem. And even that little separation there is not a problem. The main thing is that if we press plastic, which is what it's going to be, and it's still not loading the plastics that I need. This is weird. Oh, because I got Maya open. Okay, sorry about that, guys. So Maya is pulling up a little bit of what I need, memory-wise. So let's close this for a minute and let's see what else we can find as close to plastic as possible. Which is okay. No, I don't want to use that. Let's try this nail polish. The purpose, oops. So what I did there, I dragged it in and it just laid it on top of this. I don't want that. What I do want to do is, let me go to where it says nail polish. What I just click on it and it'll replace it. This is the important part, guys. As long as your material looks like this all the way around, and at the top you don't see anything weird, this is what we want. We don't want height on this because it's not supposed to have height, and we don't want opacity. We don't need that. So now if we make this rough, like more or less that color, and let's say it was a bit purplish blue, maybe pinkish, yeah. So this is what we want, guys. Again, you just want to make sure that everything looks great, and you can test it by running the camera around it, the lighting. You can see that everything's smooth, there's nothing out of the ordinary. And even if I was to put something on this as a test object, let me find something as a test texture, you'll see, let me hide the holes. You'll see by me hiding the opacity, you know, I can tile this a bit more, that's fine. We can tile this. Let's just say this was supposed to be a mesh speaker. So the whole point is that you get a smooth flow all the way around. That's the whole idea. Here it's fine, again, because we're not gonna use this, but if we were, we would have to cut a few extra things, but this is not the case. This works for me, so let's get out of Substance Painter. We're not gonna save this. We're gonna go back to Maya, and we're gonna Command S, and we're gonna press Command 1. We're gonna hide this one, and now we're gonna go with this here. These two are very simple. So UV editor, and UV shell. Select those, and all we're gonna do is unfold and optimize. And then now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these and we're gonna lay it out. That's fine for me. So by me doing what I did earlier, now check this out. If we select, let me see, let me press H. So now what we can do is, now that these are okay, what we can do is we can lay it out. Oops, we can select it and lay it out and organize it. What you have to make sure is that you separate things so that you understand it. So you know that this is the button and this piece, and these three together are, so let's separate these. You know what, this here, okay, you see what's happening here? We're gonna have to work on this. We can't have that oval. What we're going to do is we're gonna press, let me see, let's work this out for 1 minute. We can't have that oval because this is not oval. So let's see how we do this. We're gonna come here. Okay, what we're going to do is we're gonna do a few extra steps. We're gonna take edge, we're gonna cut that edge, and what we're going to do now is we're gonna have to cut this in the back somewhere. We're gonna have to, let me see, what did I do? Where did it go? Okay, so we cut that, and let's pick somewhere in the back an edge that we want to split. Click once, shift click here, press cut, right? And let's try this again. UV shell and unfold and optimize that, and let's see what we get out of that. I'm happy with this. See that? Perfect circle. So what we're gonna try to do is we're gonna select everything again. We're gonna press layout. Okay, no, let's rotate this. And we're gonna take this here, move this here, we're gonna move this here, this here, select everything, press layout. Okay, now important, always keep the sections together so you know what you're working on, and don't confuse yourself. Let's make this a bit smaller because it's outstanding. We're gonna push this in, and we're gonna push this one in too. I'm gonna press Command S, make sure we save what we just did. Object UV shell, let's zoom out. Object mode, Command 1. Let's see what else we did. So we did the button, so let's select all of this. So the button is here, we're happy with this. We're gonna leave it to the side because we're gonna organize all of this later. So you know that this is the surrounding of your button and this is your actual button. Let's leave it there for now. Let's keep UVing. So we're gonna take these, we're gonna press H. Let's work on the lettering. Now, important. I'm gonna close this for a minute. And what I am going to do is I'm gonna press Command 1. I'm gonna F so we can focus on this. And we're gonna delete the back of this because we no longer need it. All we need is the front, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take edge. That's gonna go all the way around. That did too. Take your time with this, guys. Here you have to pick this in here too because if not, it's not gonna delete it. Same thing here. And always get to the back as far as possible so that it's not visible we're in the curve that we used. We don't want that. So we're gonna keep going all the way across till we select everything. Okay, we're gonna keep going. Let's make sure everything's selected. Yes. And you'll see that it'll go all the way around. This is because when we worked earlier, we did great geometry work. And so, you know, doing things right the first time is gonna give you good results when you're trying to do something else. So that didn't work. Let's go to the next one. That should have worked. Nope, it's not working. That one worked. Okay, so now that we have everything selected, we're gonna press shift right click, detach components, object mode. Let me see if this works without me. So you see what happens since it's detached. You can shift double click all those pieces in the back and you should be able to delete them without losing the rest of the work. Let's make sure that's true. Perfect. So this is what we wanted, right? So we press Command 1 and we unhide the base. It still looks clean. Nobody notices that that back is missing and we're losing geometry that we didn't need. Now, with that selected, UV editor, UV shell, unfold. Okay, now here, once we unfold it, we're gonna have to do a little bit extra work. So we're gonna zoom into here, there's edges that have to be cut. Because if not, you're gonna have bad geometry. And it's gonna be self-explanatory when you do this. You're gonna take edge, you're gonna take these edges. You see all those edges that I'm doing? That's the ones that I did so that we can get the straight fold. But here we can't use that because, so we're gonna go from this weird looking B, we're gonna cut that, UV shell, and when we press unfold one more time, it's gonna look weird, but texture wise, it's gonna be, it should have been clean, huh? Ah, I know why. Okay, see, this is sometimes good to do things in. So we're gonna cut, but there's more stuff that we're gonna cut. Let me hide this. I missed some stuff. So I need this one cut. Oops. And I need this one cut. UV shell. We're gonna unfold it one more time and see what that looks like. So this should be okay. Even though it looks awkward, we should get clean geometry out of this, so that's no problem. You know what? Let's leave that. Let's not go crazy. Let's just leave it the way it was. Because if I press this, we're not gonna add anything special to this, so it's not gonna be a problem. What I do want is I want them aligned, and I want them in order, and I'm gonna have to rotate a few things. So sometimes when it comes to doing your own letter, it takes work. Here I think I should separate at least the end edge. Cut, UV shell, and I'm gonna unfold it one more time. No, that made it worse. See, let's just keep it this way, guys. That's fine. So anyway, we're gonna straighten out. We're gonna straighten out as much as we can. We're gonna get them together. I'm gonna push this here. We're gonna separate these a bit more. And what we are gonna do is we're gonna come down to layout. And you know what? Let's leave it this way, guys. I'm not too concerned about this. It's not gonna be a pain in the back for me. So I'm just gonna take this and I'm gonna push it away. Every time that I UV a section, guys, I'm moving it out the way. So as you can see, I have the main base, but I have everything else separately because I want to be able to then organize it my way. Again, Maya is great at doing things, but some things Maya is not good at. So let's get out of here. Let's do this now. So we're gonna press here, Command 1, and this is gonna be very simple, guys. Let me close this for a minute, and let me focus here and press F. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take two sections of this. We're gonna take edge. Should we do two sections or one section? So let's figure it out. Yeah, let's figure this out. So I'm gonna take that, right? And I'm gonna separate the inside. Oh, I didn't do this one. And let's shrink this up. Okay, let's do this again. We're gonna take the edge here. And we're gonna take the edge at the top. And then we're gonna try to make this as straight as possible. We're gonna come down from here, shift click, shift double click there, and from here, we're almost through. Shift double click here, and we should almost be done. Let me double check that. Okay, perfect, that worked out. UV editor, and we're gonna press here, we're gonna compress cut. UV, you know what? I forgot. I did the inside and I didn't do the outside, but that's fine. So that's cut, but now we're gonna have to be smart and then say, okay, where's that other line ending? So when I come here, click, and let me see what I did here. Click. So click, shift double click, and then one more time, shift double click, and these lines should be white because we cut them. UV editor, and let's press cut one more time, UV shell, and let's see what we got. Unfold. Okay, so we forgot to cut two lines, and this will tell you because you get this weird thing here. So we're gonna press edge, cut, and then we're gonna come out to this one here that we didn't split, and press cut. So we're gonna unfold one more time, UV shell, unfold. They should both be straight, right? Now, with these, it's important front, back. So we're gonna try to straighten these out as much as we can and organize them always. The front is on the top, the back, the inside or back is on the bottom. We're gonna press E, do this, do this, do this, straighten it out. W, if you want to make sure they're straight, all you gotta do is line them up here, select them both, and there's a thing here called orient. You can orient the shells, they're as straight as possible, and then you press layout, and these are done. Always make sure that you give them a little bit of space to breathe. You can even put them front back, so you can put them side by side if you're running anything that's geometry. And we're gonna push these off here. UV shell, and then we're gonna always do what we always do. Object mode, command 1. We're gonna check everything that we have. So we have that so far, and we have this. So UV shell, what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring them closer. We don't want nothing flowing off. Let's put them in order. The glass is on top. So let's put the glass here. Object mode, command S. Let's click off. Let's hide this. All this is done, so we can hide that. And we're almost through with our model. So let's keep it going. So with this is very simple. I'm gonna press F. Let's move this over. Command 1. And what we want here is so what we want here is edge at the top, edge at the bottom. We're gonna press cut. So we're gonna cut that, and then let's move this off a little bit. The blue is the front, so we're gonna try to go straight to the back as best as we can. We're gonna click, shift double click, cut, and then UV shell, unfold, optimize. That's perfect. We're gonna again top, bottom, make sure everything's in order. Press E. You're gonna orient, so we're gonna move this over so we can see what we're doing. Orient the shells. We're going to align them, and we're gonna give them top. Press W. Press W a little bit, and we're gonna push this off to the side again. Shell. Let's close this. Object mode, and let's hide. Press command 1. We're gonna hide this because we finished with it, and then here we're gonna work on these together. Okay, so these are simple, guys. So the way we're gonna work on these is we're gonna press UV editor, and it may look confusing, but it's gonna be as easy as pie. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna make a separation. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take an edge, right? We're gonna pick edges. This edge, that should come all the way across. Right, and we're gonna click here. Click here, and we're gonna click the other corner. So we're gonna come all the way over here, And we're gonna match everything we do on one side, we're gonna try to match to do on the other side. So right here, we're gonna cut this out, and I'm gonna show you how simple it is. And when we press cut, UV shell, unfold, let's see what we have. I think that's fine. Let me see the geometry. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. You see that? Nice and smooth. UV shell, we're gonna press this, we're gonna press E, and we're gonna straighten it out so that the geometry is nice and clean. That's what we want. Optimize it. We're going to orient it, and then we're going to lay it out, and that is done. Let's move this one up, get rid of it. Let's turn off this. Object mode, let's go to the next one. Same thing. We're gonna come here. We're going to press edge. 1, 2, 3. Other side is already all the way through. And we're gonna 4, 5. Open the UV editor again. We're gonna cut, UV shell, unfold. We're gonna optimize it. We're gonna press E. We're gonna twist it this way. We're going to orient it, lay it out, and Bob's your uncle. And again, always try to keep your stuff together. So let's say you want this one to be the one, the bottom, UV shell. We're gonna take this one, we're gonna bring it up with this one, and we're gonna push these up together to keep them as a group, right? Object mode, Command S. I am constantly saving, guys. I'm constantly saving because you never know what can happen if you have a light outage, if Maya crashes. You know, we're almost through with the UVing, right? We're almost through. What we have to do is separate this, and we're done. So let's take this one, Command 1, UV editor. Let's get it on. Now here we're gonna have to work very smart. So how would you approach this? Let me show you my way. I'll take this edge. I will come in here, and I will detach that, and I will press cut to get that out of the way, because that's a separate piece inside. Now, the thing here is you have to work very smart. And what we want to do is I'm trying to work this together with you guys so we don't have major issues. Because if I take this UV shell and now unfold it, look what we get. And if you press this, look how nasty that looks. That is not what we're looking for, so let's go back. So let's go back, guys. How do we do this? Okay, the smart way is I would take this, this, and this, right? So that would be cut. Or I would do this. Yeah, let's do it this way. I'm gonna show you guys a trick. So if we want just the handle, let's select the handle right where it ends. You know, this is how I used to do for my defenders. And I would split it. Oh, you know what? Let's insert. We need an edge loop in here. So hue. Okay, so let's do this. We're gonna keep that. We're gonna take this edge again, shift double click, shift double click, shift double click, make sure it's all the way around, right? And you're gonna take 1, 2, and we're gonna shift double click up to here, right? And now we're going to press cut. So what we did there, watch this, UV shell, object mode, UV shell, and we're gonna unfold everything. And this is what we were looking for. So it may look strange to you. This is inside, this is the handle. If we press E, the thing is, once we take these, let's straighten them out. Hold on. Let's go to orient. Let's make that there. And let's press W and line this up here. The cool thing is you're gonna get clean geometry all the way around. And this is what you want when you do a complex object. You wanna make sure that everything's the same size. So now we're gonna take all of these, we're gonna lay them out. And of course, we're gonna push them away. Let's put them somewhere else. Let's turn this off. Command S, object mode, Command 1. And so now we're almost done, guys. We have 2 more pieces. As you can see, this is as fast as you can do things in Maya. This one's gonna be the easiest one. And this one's gonna be the easiest piece. That's why I left them for last. So let's start with this one, Command 1. And what you wanna do is UV editor. You're gonna, let's do something mesh tool. Insert an edge loop. We're gonna insert one here. And let me show you how cool this is. So we can do this 2 ways. If I press cut right now, cut, UV shell, UV shell. What's going on with this? Let's try this again. Object mode, UV editor, UV shell, unfold. Okay, one more time. So this is not gonna work. You're gonna have warped geometry. You can see small and large. But once you're done, all you gotta do is take the bottom edge, which is down here somewhere, pick a spot where you're gonna cut it. So let me hide this for a minute. So let's say for me, this is a good spot. All you gotta do is cut one more time, UV shell, click and unfold, and now you have a nice piece of geometry. Now if we turn this back on and we straighten this out, UV shell, and we press E, you're gonna, and let's align this, let's orient it. Perfect. All the way through, same size squares is what you want. We're gonna lay it out. W, let's turn this off so we don't go crazy and push this out of here. Object mode, Command S, save as you UV. So you can see how quickly we UV that big bottle, which was intimidating and driving you crazy, maybe thinking how we was gonna get through this. We got through it, folks. So with this one, we're gonna have to approach this in a simple, smart way. Let's click on it and press F. And what we're going to do, let me move this out. When you open a box, you're gonna have to do here. You're gonna have to do a few things. You're gonna have to press Edge. You have to get in here, double click, shift, double click. Yeah, let's do the bottom. Shift, double click, shift, double click. And what we're going to do here is we're gonna cut that right away. Get that out of the way. We're gonna press cut. So that's out of our way. Now with this one, it's gonna be very simple. Think of a box. when you open up and you're gonna throw a box away, you're gonna have to pick a few sides that you're gonna cut. So let's do so. These are gonna be a bit difficult. So we're gonna have to approach this differently. We're gonna have to, because if I double click, it's gonna go all the way around, no matter where I click. So we're gonna have to be smart about this. So being that it is this way, we're gonna double click that and we're gonna cut it, because those white lines are gonna be our guides when we do the next step. And then reconnect it. You press cut, and then now those are cut, and then now here we're gonna pick a spot that we're gonna cut. So we can pick from here, let's say from here, and we're gonna press cut. Okay, so we've separated everything. We have to make 2 more cuts. We have to select one in here. Actually, we have to extend this. So shift click, follow that all the way to the bottom, and shift click the other 2 pieces that we need. Shift click and cut one more time. So this is what we're gonna do. Well, once we unfold everything, we're gonna have a little bit of a mess. So we have to organize this logically. This is the main piece, as you can see. I'm gonna press E to rotate that, and I'm gonna, okay, let's work in here now. So let's take everything and twist it a bit. You can see that's the top. Inside, this is the bottom, right? So we're still just straightening these out. Press W, get that out of the way. So get that out of the way, get this one out of the way. We are gonna be uniting some of these, except these 2 on the inside, so I wouldn't be too worried about that. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna make sure that they're straight by selecting, orienting the shells. Now, these 2 are the insides. You can tell because once I go over these, they glow. So we don't have to worry about uniting these. However, these, if we press edge and go all the way across, we can connect those. So we can press edge, shift double click, we're gonna press sew, and then one more time towards the bottom. Where's that little piece that I took? I'm gonna press this UV shell, bring it up, and it should almost line up with the next one. Yep, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this, shift double click, we're gonna sew it, and then UV shell, and we're gonna unfold it one more time, optimize it, and we're going to orient it. And now when we turn this on, guys, every little square is the same, and we should lay it out. Whoops, select everything and lay it out. It's gonna lay it in the 0 to 1 space. And you see, we don't want that. So anyway, we're done with the UVing, guys. In a matter of nothing, we're done with the UVing. We're gonna move this out the way. Now, this is the important part. There are a lot of important parts. Object, you go to UV shell, close this, Command S, Command 1, and we're gonna unhide everything. And this is what we're gonna do before we go any further. Object mode, edit, delete by type history, edit, delete by type non-deformer, modify freeze, modify center, Command S. Now with everything selected, you're gonna go back to your UV editor, and you're gonna organize everything in a smart way. How are we gonna do this? We're gonna do a test, and we're gonna press layout. So it made a mess. It doesn't matter though. It made a mess because everything's gonna have the same size square if you look at it. See, that's why we do this, because it's the correct shape and everything is usually the way it's supposed to be. Now, if we're gonna focus and do everything the correct way, we have to work smart. This is your strap. And then you're gonna have to look at the pieces as you go over them to see what's going on. So you know that this is another piece, this is that piece, and we're trying to see which one is in here. So let's see shading X-ray and see which one lights up. So this part goes with this one. So we know that everything's the same size. So what we're trying to do is get them together again. So we're gonna take this and this together. And we're gonna move it over. So zoom out and make sure that everything is the same way. So this and this is what? Let's move this over and see what we're working with here. So we can see that this and this goes together, but we're missing this extra piece here. So we need these together. We're gonna put all of these together, and let's be generous and put one here and put one here, and there goes your little piece here. Let's lay that next to the strap because we know that goes together. So this is, see how it confuses you? So you have to take your button and the outside of your button and keep those together, because the point is organization and order. So we're going to take this and we're going to pop it in here next to these. So this is your glass, we're okay with that. This and all of these are one piece, you can tell by, except this one, see that goes towards the glass. So we're going to take this, you see it all lights up. So this and this and this and this is part of the base, right? Yes. So this is why we do this, guys, because we want to make sure that everything stays with its group. This is part of that, or this is part of the, okay, you see this and this. Okay, so then now this goes here, this goes here, and you know that that is your base because it's all going to glow. These two pieces, that's the shaft in there, as you can see. Let's move the shaft up because it's a very small piece. And then here the letters, let's organize them. Let's go to the B, L, E, and D, J, E, T, phone home. And now we're gonna take these out, get them out the way. These belong with this, with the shaft here, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, you see, that's all one piece right here. This does not belong here. These are one piece. This belongs to this, so this bad boy has to come over here. So again, just make sure that you organize everything by group, so you know if you're texturing, you know that you organized it in a way that you're always gonna remember, right? And we're gonna take this last period that belongs on top of the J and we're gonna pop it over it. So now this is your 0 to 1 space, and this is where organization comes into place. This is your base. You want your base here, right? That's all the base. Next thing you want is the glass. So let's get this out the way and we'll work, because these are the biggest pieces here. So you don't want them hanging somewhere else and getting lost. So let's just keep those there. Okay. So what do we do here, guys? How would you figure this out? Because it's not overlapping. Simple. What you do is bring it up, bring them up. outside is outside. Okay, so we're gonna push this up, push it in. We're gonna think, guys. Okay, this is gonna be glass. We don't need this to be that big. We're gonna sacrifice the sizing here. We're just gonna give some sacrifice. Base, glass, right? This is gonna be shaft. The shaft, and this is the following pieces, because you know this is all gonna be metal. Button and center. We can take those and we can pop them here too. This is your lid, so the lid can go here, and then we can take the strap and this and we can pop it right here. And so I'm very happy with this, guys. Very happy with all of it. You make sure that everything, see, if you don't check, everything's pink except the blend jet, so you have to put that somewhere. Now with the blend jet, I'm gonna sacrifice and make it a bit bigger. Since we have space, I'm gonna let that be a bit bigger. And I am also gonna give these pieces more sizing. I'm gonna put them together and I'm gonna increase the size, because sometimes when you work in a Substance Painter, it's good to have big size chunk meshes. But let's switch sizes. Bring this over here. Let's bring this over here. Let's take these and make them a bit bigger. Let's press W. Okay, and we are ready to rumble. How do you know? If you select everything, it's all here. There's nothing laying out on the outside. Everything is 0 to 1. Before we leave, we're gonna assign a Lambert, the same material to everything. This shouldn't stay transparent. I don't understand why it is. But let's see why. Let's see when we export this to see what. Oh, duh. I'm in X-ray mode. Genius. Sorry about that, guys. Let's Lambert 1. Edit, delete by type history. Edit, delete by type non-deformer. Modify freeze. Modify center. Now something just says plain. What is that? Okay, that's fine. So we're gonna say blade 1. Okay, so I'll click on it. That's the only thing. That's the only thing that doesn't have a name. And this is gonna be blade 2. Blade 2. Command S. File. Export selection. So instead, we're gonna call this 3D. So it was blend jet blender completed, and we're gonna export that. So guys, in the next video, I'm gonna dedicate it strictly to texture and everything in Substance Painter. So be on the lookout for that. Thank you for watching, and have a great day, guys.